We'll go live stream on YouTube. We'll go live stream on YouTube. That sounds like me. All right. So this is an InterNACHI webinar, live, free, online, open to everyone. Welcome. If you wanted to attend a webinar, nachi.org/webinars. If you wanted to see a video recording of a recent webinar, we're also there, nachi.org/webinars. Let's go there. I'll show you what it looks like. So there's a search field. So if you wanted to search for anything like electrical, right? We have a ton of webinars that you can watch. There's Electricity 101, Part 1 and Part 2. That was a really good one. If you wanted to learn about roofs, we have a lot about that topic. Or you can go on the right-hand side and we have 91 webinars about marketing, 57 webinars about business. Well, let me get my fancy green circle out so you can see what I'm looking at. If you want to get a webinar about websites, we've got 40 of them. So we've been doing this for a long time. And all of our InterNACHI webinars are free, live, and online and interactive. You should be able to see me. I can't see you. You should be able to hear me. I can't hear you. But if you wanted to ask questions, we have a Q&A feature on the webinar site. So you got to register and then come into Zoom webinar system and you can ask questions and you can chat. If you're listening to me now, if you want to say hi to everybody and tell us where you're from, that'd be really cool. If you're on YouTube, we're streaming it on YouTube. I'm not going to look at all the comments on YouTube. So I won't be able to attend to everything. So we're just going to live stream it on YouTube, but not really attend to the questions or comments there. If you wanted to ask questions, come on to nachi.org/webinars and register for a free live webinar. And that's at nachi.org/webinars. I think it's also nachi.org/webinar. Either one. All right. And so this is a live webinar. We're going to perform a home inspection. You're going to follow me around and I'm going to perform a home inspection. I'm going to show you exactly what I did during the home inspection. We're going to inspect this home and you can ask questions. I'll show you what I did. I'll show you the problems that I found and how I wrote the report. We're going to go over the inspection report as well. We're going to inspect the house, learn how it works, find problems, get your coffee out. We're going to follow the standards of practice, use inspection software. We're going to read the report. We can talk about getting trained and certified as a home inspector through InterNACHI. See my shirt, InterNACHI logo right here. I'm also a certified professional inspector. We can also talk business and marketing, but feel free to ask questions, okay? So we had about 70 people register for this morning's webinar. That's awesome. It's going to be video recorded. Everybody who registers for an InterNACHI webinar gets the link to the video recording. So if you have a scheduled home inspection, just register for the webinar and watch it later. We'll also throw up the audio file on our Spotify account so you can listen to it while you drive around. So get your coffee and we'll start in about 8 minutes. And along the way, or in the meantime, you can ask questions or chat. So we'll start in a few minutes. I have everything on my side up and running. And Cody says, I know we haven't started yet, but I was going through the safety course. And I was wondering what is a good non-penetrating fall arrest system people use for inspecting roofs. Oh man, on my house, like personally, I got to put an anchor system on my house, right? I've got all these other things. I'm always up on the roof of my house. My house is 30 some feet up off the floor. I don't want to fall. Being on the roof is really dangerous. Using a ladder is dangerous, even a small step ladder. You can hurt yourself off the first or second rung and break a bone. So just be careful. Safety is number one. And Cody asked a great question. And I don't know the answer. Non-penetrating. So the anchor, you want to anchor that into the roof system, not just through the shingles or the sheathing, but I want to hit some load-bearing component like the rafter or the ridge or both and wrap it over the ridge and all that great stuff. But don't know any other non-penetrating fall arrest system. Um, yeah, so I'd have to Google that one. Good question. And Cody's referring to the safety course. You know, number one concern for home inspectors is to come. Your number one job is to come back home. It really is. So you want to be safe. And so we have many courses. Let me show you what we've got. So if you log into InterNACHI's, if you log into your dashboard, you can get to the courses by browsing the courses on the left-hand side menu. But let's say you're not a member yet. So on any NACHI.org page, if you wanted to get to the education page, it's under Get Started, and there's Training and Education. And this is our main education page. And all of the courses, online courses that are provided by InterNACHI are through our accredited college, accredited by the U.S. Department of Education. InterNACHI.edu provides all of our free online training, certification, examination, and continuing education courses. And if you wanted to take the safety course, you type in safety here, and you've got the exterior safety, you got the ladder safety, we have the COVID-19 safety, all kinds of um, safety courses for the inspector. And let's see, safe practices for the home inspector is a really good one. And we're talking about a way to go up on the roof that isn't dangerous. So we've got a video with Kenton Shepard, and he talks about using a ladder.
But it should go at least 3 feet above the roof.
I know it's kind of like obvious and kind of silly, like, oh, we're going to watch some guy use a ladder, but it's actually really good. If you've never used one before, or if you're not familiar with ladders, we have the training course for you. And so when you're up on the roof, you don't want to fall off. And so we have those as well. About let's see, where can I find? We have got a video about falling through floors even, right? Not just on the roof, but inside a home that's being built, especially under new construction. There are openings in floors, and you don't want to fall through that floor. So when a house is being built and you're doing a pre-drywall inspection or a renovation project, watch the openings, not just the edges off the top roof surface, but there's all kinds of things you could fall through. And so safety is number one at InterNACHI. And we have a really good curriculum about safety. We even have a course about how to use a ladder. You can do a search for ladder on our course system, and there's a ladder safety training course. So if you're going to use any kind of ladder, step ladder, extension ladder, and those fancy little giant ladders, right? That orient in all kinds of ways, take the ladder safety training course. Okay. Hope that helps out, Cody. Casey says, I'm not an inspector, but I'm taking the national test on the 17th. Could start marketing now. Yeah. So if you want to, hit the ground running in the beginning, if you're running your own business, if that's your goal, then you've got to do everything all at once. All right. You're the technician, you're the manager, you're the executive, and you've got to do everything. You're the marketing strategist, and you also do all the marketing. The good thing is there are a lot of things that you could leverage so you don't have to do it all yourself. So Casey, if I was you, I'd log into your dashboard, and top right corner is your dashboard. And then on the left-hand side, go to the marketing tab or the business development tab. And that's two fantastic resources. You go there and there's all these things you can leverage. So you don't have to do all the work yourself. You put in a certain amount of effort, but this multiplies the force and makes a bigger result. So start marketing now. And I would start by thinking of an answer to the question, why should I hire you? It isn't just like, oh, because I follow standards of practice, or I take pictures, or use software, or I'm certified, or I'm licensed. It has to be more than that. It has to be unique and valuable. And then you propose that unique value proposition. Propose that in your marketing. You send that out in your marketing, and you try to attract people, convince them that they can trust you, and you bring them in. So that's all that is in our marketing class. And you can find that by logging into your dashboard and go to business development on the left-hand side, and then home inspection business and marketing course. It's a college level course offered by the only home inspector college on the United in the US on the planet Earth, really, InterNACHI.edu. It's a really great course, and I would jump to a certain chapter in this course. You don't have to take the entire course. You can just jump right in and look for information that you need. So we're talking about marketing and branding. I would go to the chapter 13 is work on branding. And then chapter 14 is work on marketing. You want to work on branding because you need to answer the question, why should I hire you? Really? You know, that's it. That's that one question. Why should I hire you instead of any other home inspector in your zip code? And then you work on marketing to send that marketing out, to send that message out, to send that answer out. And everything you communicate in marketing is all about your unique, different, extremely valuable stuff, education, information, services that you provide. So it's kind of fun. So go through the marketing course. That's a great resource that InterNACHI has that you could leverage. Yeah. All right. So it's 1 after. I think we're supposed to start on time. So let's start. Everybody ready? All right. My name is Ben Gromyko. I'm from InterNACHI, and this is an InterNACHI webinar. They're free, live, online, and open to everybody. And if you wanted to register for the next webinar or watch a past recording of one, nachi.org/webinars, nachi.org/webinars. And it's also on our homepage, nachi.org. Thanks for being here. We had about 70 people, 80 people register for the webinar, but because we record them all, not everyone's going to be on right now, but just some logistics. You should be able to see me. I can't see you. You should be able to hear me. I can't hear you. If you wanted to chat live through our webinar platform, you can. So you have a chat button where we've been chatting with each other right now. Morning, William. And there's a Q&A button as well. You can ask questions, and I'll try to attend to everyone's needs. But we are going to perform a home inspection. And we're also live streaming on YouTube. I'm not going to be able to manage that channel as well. So if you want to comment, you feel free, but I won't be looking at it. Let's take a look at this house. Let's inspect this house. Hey, Derek, Guy, Manuel. All right. So let's inspect this house, okay? Let's perform a home inspection on this house. That's what we're going to do today. If you're not a member and you've never been a member, but you like a trial membership, we got a couple offers for you. A free 1-month trial membership at that URL, nachi.org/trial, TRIAL, and enter the webinar code, webinar month. Or if you want a 50% off discount off your first year membership, same place, If you've never been a member, if you're already a member, nope. It's only for new members, brand new people. And use that code webinar. So that URL is nachi.org/trial, TRIAL. And welcome to InterNACHI. We have an online, tuition-free, accredited college that provides all of our training, examination, and continuing education. That's at internachi.edu. Don't go to an unaccredited school to get trained as a home inspector. You want to go to a college, an actual college. Look for that .edu, internachi.edu. Let's inspect this house. We're going to learn how it works. I'm sure you already know how it works, but here's some things that I think about when I'm inspecting a home, about how it actually works. We're going to find some problems, follow a standards of practice, use inspection software. We're going to read the report. We're going to learn how to get certified. We can talk about business and marketing. We can ask questions. Sound good? Brendan, just email lisa@internachi.org. lisa@internachi.org. Thanks. This is my typical day. When I start an inspection, I've got two that I do, one at 8 a.m. and one at 12 noon. I do two a day and I make a ton of cash. My goal is to make $1,000 for every inspection. And that's what all of our inspectors did in my multi-inspector firm. Everyone made $1,000 for every inspection. That's a pretty good Saturday, right? If you're a weekend warrior home inspector and you're making a couple grand on a Saturday, not bad. Not bad at all. 7 a.m., I leave the house, got to drive, get coffee and donuts. And then if I arrive at the home, I always arrive early. Where I'm from, if you're on time, you're late. I want to inspect the roof because that is the most difficult system. And I don't want anybody with me. I want to be all alone. I want to take my time so I get there early. There's nothing my client can do with me when I'm inspecting the roof, so I might as well do it alone. 8 a.m., my client arrives in the driveway. I'm usually getting down from my ladder and big, great smile. First impressions are important. Handshake and business cards. And I tell them what is about to happen for the next 2 hours. I set the stage. I set their expectations. We're going to do the exterior and they are welcome to follow me around. After that, we do the heavy lifting, the HVAC, the plumbing, the water supply, the water heating, the drain, electrical, structure. And then we go up in the attic, and that's around 2 hours in. If I'm in the attic space, under the roof structure, 2 hours after I start officially, I know I'm on time because I'm managing my time really well. I'm a time manager. When you're a home inspector, doing home inspections every day, maybe one a day or two a day or three a day, you have to manage your time. So you get to learn that. When you're new, it's going to take a while to get things rolling. You'll have to practice on your own home 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. You have to practice on your friend's home, your family member's home, your neighbor's homes in order to get your routine efficient. So at 10 a.m. and I'm in the attic and I'm smiling because I know in about an hour I'm done and I've got some money in my pocket. At 10:15, I'm doing the interior, which includes the bathrooms, windows, doors, floors, walls, ceilings, everything like that. Smoke detectors. 10:30, if there's a garage, I'm doing the garage, I'm doing the laundry, I'm ending up in the kitchen, and I'm gonna finish at about 11. That's 3 hours after I officially begin. And I'm gonna finish up my additional inspections. I'm going to review the report summary with my client. I'm going to print out the report summary. I'll print out the entire report if I have time. If I'm ahead of time, I'm going to throw in my photos and my videos and punch out an entire report, and I'll print it out for them or email them, text them the report using InterNACHI's Fetch Report system. It's a cloud-based system where you can upload your PDF reports and makes it real easy for clients to access their reports. And that is a free system. And I get paid. Typical Home inspection fee, $400 or $500, but you add in wood destroying organism and radon. Now it's 750. You do a mold, do an infrared, you're pushing 1,000. And if you do two of those a day, well, talk about happy camper. What market is that? $1,000? That was the toughest market on the planet, Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is Jersey and New York. I mean, it's just within a 1 hour radius of Philly, there's 500 excellent home inspection companies. And we were number one. And we did that for a dozen years. So, how do you do it? Man, we put all those secrets, all the how did you do that in the marketing course that I just referred to a few minutes ago. But it's basically being that go to one stop shop that solves people's problems, not only my clients' problems, but my agents, their representatives' problems. I mean, I literally asked real estate agents, what would be your ideal home inspection day? I listen to what they say, and then I provide it better than everybody else. In business, if you overwhelm someone, if you overwhelm your customer or client, we have clients with incredible value, they'll compare it to the cost, but they'll pay you every single time. So that's the goal. When you're performing a home inspection, we're trying to provide valuable information so that people can make huge decisions on the most costly thing that they'll ever purchase in their entire life. And they have trusted you to give them that information. Overwhelm them with unique, valuable information. And when they compare it to the cost, it'll be a good decision every single time. The better you do that, the more money you can make. A home inspection is based on the standards of practice. The standards of practice is the foundation upon which you build a successful home inspection process. Heck, a business as well, because it tells you what you are required to inspect and what you're not required to inspect. And when you understand the not required to inspect, becomes so much easier and becomes really fun. Doing a home inspection isn't, there's a lot of pressure, but man, when you are clear on what you do and you can set your clients' expectations on what you do, it becomes a lot of fun helping people out. The first system that I inspect, I get there early, right? And I do the roof. You don't have to do that. You can do the kitchen first. You can do the bathrooms first. You can do the nasty crawl space first. Whatever floats your boat. It's up to you. But do it systematically for every home and property that you inspect so that everything is in a process. You are doing the same thing. You even can move through the home, the property, in a clockwise direction. I went counterclockwise. I did everything counterclockwise. I did the exterior counterclockwise. I have no idea. I just started that way. I think because I'm right-handed, so I go right. So counterclockwise. And I would do it twice. First time is really just looking at the big stuff. And the second time is with my client doing details and taking pictures and writing a report. So, same thing with the roof, back and forth. And there's a pattern. There's a pattern for every room that you step in. So when I step into a room like this, right, I would come through the door, counterclock. I go to my right and go around and then go around again. When you do that, when you have a pattern based upon a standard, then defects just pop up. Can't help but notice them. Here's a shot. This is a money-making shot. Every time I'm taking a picture like this, I'm putting this in the report. This is in the report. So no matter who is reading my inspection report, they are going to know the incredible value that I provide and how it's unique from all the others. I get up on the roof. I carry tall ladders. As you can see, this is my 40-foot aluminum ladder. This is my, I don't know which one that is. That could be the 28-foot. I think I'm using the 32-foot ladder, the fiberglass ladder, and I'm up on the roof and it's raining. This is value that I want to convey to my client in everything that I do, right? This distinguishes me from all the rest. I've got big competition in Southeastern PA, blow them away. Figure out how, oh, I like this too. This is a little tip. Get a big cone, get a 3-foot cone and put it behind your vehicle. If you're like me, I got to pull these ladders off in the back. I hate it when people park real tight up on my bumper. I don't understand why anybody would park close to a truck. Or a work truck? Why? I just roll over. I just run right over little cars in my truck.
The asphalt shingle roof appears to be in good shape. I don't see anything cracked or damaged. Nothing missing. No repairs. It's a young roof. The shingles are lying flat. The granular surface is good. Has plenty of life left on it. There's flashing around the sewer vent pipes. There's a few more sewer vent pipes. The gutters, front and back, appear to be clean. There's a ridge vent on top of the roof, providing ventilation for the attic space. That's good. Satellite dish in the front left corner. So it looks like a good roof.
I play that for each of my clients at the end of the inspection. I put it on my computer, laptop, and I turn it and I hit play. I don't even introduce them to, I just hit play and they look at my computer and they just like are engaged in. And they're like, the first thing they do is they go, you know what they ask, right? What do they ask? What's the first thing they ask while they're looking at this video? With their mouth open. Come on. You know what it is. Someone type it in. What does somebody ask? What does my client say? They go, is that my roof? I'm like, yeah, that's your roof. That's your roof. They'll never see their roof like I see it. And you are insane if you don't give them that perspective. You're just insane. If you're a home inspector and you don't give that information to your client, I blow the pants off of my clients. They just can't. What? That's my roof? Yeah. You're walking on my roof? Yeah. Here's what it looks like. Everything's good. Okay. And they're like, oh, okay. The rest of it, I was with you for the rest of it. So, okay. What do we owe? Where's the credit card? They just immediately go for their credit card, right? Blow their pants off. I mean, if you're texting, the roof is in good condition. No one reads. What are you doing? You got to do video, man. And now AI is going to help you do video, right? InterNetGE has software. We're going to incorporate AI to help you do video-based home inspection reports, right? That's where we're heading. So just a little tip on the future. Video. If you're not doing video, you're making a terrible mistake. So I did some videos and it actually is, valuable information. Isn't it interesting? Yeah. But it also, if you think a picture's worth 1,000 words like this, pictures, I get up on the roof. Guy, when you arrive early and begin your roof inspection, do you get on the roof this time before the real estate agent clients show up? Do you need permission to get back? Yeah, all the logistics of me getting there early and stepping on a piece of property that's not mine has already been taken care of. You have to get documentation signed, and InterNetGE has an agreement system, an online agreement system that is free, obviously, through InterNetGE. Don't pay for an agreement system and other people helping you with your agreements. Careful with who you share information, confidential information with. And the agreement system is in between you and your client. It could also be between the seller as well. And you prep the seller that you're coming. When your client says, when the seller says, I agree to a home inspection, they essentially agree to this service as well. So it's all worked out for you. Leveraging InterNetGE's legal resources and your real estate agents. But make sure the agreement is signed prior to stepping on the property. Even if you're doing a radon placement, you're placing it placing the radon test 2 to 7 days prior to the home inspection, you want permission to do that. Okay. So I'm taking pictures. I'll probably take 50 pictures of the roof. I'll throw maybe a dozen into the inspection report. I'll show you the inspection report. I'll do a bunch of videos as well. But basically, that's a money shot right there. That is me in contact with the system that I am required to inspect according to the standards of practice that we referred to earlier, right? What am I required to inspect? I'm required to inspect what I'm touching, the roof covering. It says the roof covering. It doesn't say the roof system. Roof system is fastening, underlayment, trim, drip, things that I don't, the sheathing, the decking, I can't see any of that stuff. So I'm going to take a picture. This is what I saw. This roof, here's the honest thing, right? This is what I talked about when you don't have to, you have to know what you're required to inspect and not required to inspect. I'm not required to predict future events. This roof it's raining right now. It could leak after I perform an inspection. It could leak the next day, but I'm not responsible for that. I'm not responsible for predicting future events. I'm responsible for inspecting the things that the standards of practice requires me to inspect and reporting upon the condition. And if I see a defect, a material defect that I consider a big problem, I got to put it in a report. Here's another beautiful picture. That's me touching the thing. So what I do is I take far away pictures and really close up pictures of my hand touching things. And by the way, I don't have time to draw little arrows and circles and silly stuff like that. That's me. I'm stepping on the roof, decking structure, right? That's me touching what I'm supposed to be inspecting. And while I'm inspecting the roof, I'm thinking of this. Love this illustration. The blue is also, water, obviously. But I'm thinking about how this system is helping this house manage water. Every home needs to manage water. Every homeowner should be trained on how to manage water and prevent moisture intrusion. We don't want water coming in, bulk water or water vapor coming into our homes uncontrolled, right? So how does water, how does it drip off the edge here? When it, there's these little things. There's drip edge flashing. There's fascia at the eaves. And there's the deck has flashing there. Here's the deck ledger. Every light fixture has something that every door, every window, every windsill, every bottom of the door, bottom of the foundation, and there's drainage and sloped. We want to get this water away. I don't care if you're in dry Arizona. I lived in Boulder, Colorado for 15 years. When it rained, it was an event, right? It never rained, right? But when it did, so getting trained and certified, we have a fantastic, InterNACHI.edu has a fantastic moisture intrusion course for home inspectors. And we train you everything about how water moves. Not just bulk water, but water vapor, and moisture, how a capillary wicks up, and how we can manage water around a house. It is so much fun to inspect how a home or a property or even a building filled with apartments, how does that manage water? It starts with the top. I'm at the tippity top. That's a ridge vent. I'm holding a ridge vent so I can help my client understand how this attic is ventilated. There's a ridge vent there. I take pictures of every plane, every shingle, every roof penetration. That's a vent pipe coming through the roof. There's another 2 more vent pipes coming through the roof. I'm going to get close enough to them to take a look at them. I'm going to touch them again. I know that this is in good shape. You know why? I'm not using binoculars from the ground. I'm actually right there on top of it. Now, let's say you're not going to use a ladder. You don't have to. You're not required, according to InterNACHI's home inspection standards of practice. By your state, maybe there is. I can't remember which state it was. I don't want to say it. But 2 states in the United States require you to use a ladder if you can, if it's safe. Well, we just said no ladder safe. So I guess you're not required to use any ladder, no matter where you're at. Let's say you do, and we're in competition with each other, and we're in the same zip code. Oh, how are you going to beat me in the market? How are you going to beat that. How are you going to beat that? Would you hire this inspector or the one who uses binoculars from the grass? And that's okay if you do. I'm just saying, how are you now going to market yourself? How are you going to compete with friendly competitors who do things like this? This became our brand. We got up on any roof. I mean, if you are driving a van with a 40-foot aluminum ladder, I am communicating, I'm getting up there. What are you communicating? Right? So there's my ladder. I know it's not properly installed. That's how I did it. There's secondary roofs, lower roofs. That's the front porch roof. Front porch roof. I can see it from the ground, but what I really do is I get up on the ladder. I put my ladder up there anyways, and I take a look around. Oh, it's a good thing I did. You can't see this from the ground. You can't see this from the ground. Let me show you again. Let me show you again. Tell me that this gutter is filled with water. Go ahead, tell me. Tell me that this gutter is clogged. You can't. You have no idea. But it actually is. I don't know what you guys are doing. If you're not using a drone, this would be really helpful, right? This is useful, valuable information. Seller doesn't even know. Picture's worth 1,000 words. This is a cool shot, man. That is filled with water, right? And it's coming off of that right there. I don't understand. There's no tennis ball in there. I don't know what's going on in here. There's something in. There aren't even adult trees hanging over. I have no idea. I really don't care. My job isn't to diagnose it. My job is to report that.
The rear gutter at the secondary lower roof is filled with water, clogged downspout.
Boom. The downspouts go underground. I can't inspect underground drainage systems. I don't know where they're going, but I know this one is effed up because look, there's a ton. Do you see the shimmering of the water puddles? There's something going on here. So I got a clogged gutter downspout in the back, and I've got this one in the rear corner that has a ton of water just puddling up. And it does this all the time because look at this. Oh man, it's even green here. There's just water just wicking up. Concrete is made out of pores, and water, by capillary action, is sucked into those pores. And then it stays there. You know how difficult it is for evaporation to take place or diffusion out to take place? It's fantastic. Look at all this water. Look at all this water hanging out here. There's so much water on this corner. I put my hand there. I don't have time for arrows and circles, right? On text. So I just put my hand there. And then in the report, I said, I observe standing water, puddles of water up against the foundation, which is not doing anything like this, right? There's no site drainage. You don't want water puddling up. That's hundreds of gallons of water every rainstorm, just laying on a porous material of the foundation of a house. Man, it's so much fun being a home inspector to explain all this stuff. You know that condition on the outside? You know this condition on the outside right there? Or how about this one with all the standing water? You know this has an effect on the occupant's health on the inside of the house? Do you know how this is connected to the indoor air quality on the inside of the house? It is. Everything is connected. In a home or building, and we spend 80, 90% of our time, our lives are spent in our homes and in our buildings, looking at screens, looking at them, right? Breathing the air that is affected by what's going on outside. And your clients have no idea. Most homeowners have no idea why they're not feeling well this week, right? It ain't COVID. It's this stuff. So if you want to get into healthy homes, oh, now you're doing a home inspection and you're also a healthy internet. You can certify and train and certify you to be a healthy homes inspector. Now you double that up. Now you're really providing incredible amount of information, valuable information that has a direct impact on people's lives and health. Our homes affect our health. And home inspectors Not building code inspectors, not builders, not contractors. No one cares. Not your doctor. Your doctor doesn't put this. There's only one professional on planet Earth that can put all these systems together on how a home affects our health. And that's a home inspector. Man, it's so much fun being a home inspector. And doing the exterior, it's all about the standards of practice. So let's do the exterior. There's the grounds, right? There's the grounds on this side. There's some vegetation. We want that to be, we just monitor that. We don't want a lot of stuff up against our homes. We want it to be looking like this, although this is kind of low here, right? See this area? Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like there was some fill when this house was built 5 years ago, kind of sagged down here. It was up here maybe, but sagged down, right? You can even see like it goes down, right? So water puddles up here. We don't want water puddling up. We want things to be sloped away. It's 6 inches in the first 10 feet. So 6 inches down for the first 10 feet all around your house. There's a sump pump discharge pipe, right? You got to recognize these things. What is that? Is that water coming in? No, it's discharge coming out. And where's it go? Where is it? It dumps right here. It goes right here and dumps into the trench of the main electric line. Oh, here's a concrete pad. It needs to be sloped to get water away from it, like a 2% slope or a very slow, like light slope, just to get water and there has to be clearance here between this patio and the bottom of the siding. And you have to take a look at the wood rot where this step, make sure there aren't any trip hazards. This area here is critical. You got to get the flashing and the ceiling right. And the slope of the step itself needs to be sloped just slightly away, right? And we're looking at where this ground is and what's happening at this corner here. And is there clearance here? And is there flashing here? If this was wood siding, I'd be looking for wood rot, all these places where water just wants to enter. In the corners, behind the downspout, is this overlapped properly? I'm looking at everything around here. All the windows, all the doors, all the flashing. Remember our graphic with flashing on top of the windows and even on the bottom of the windows and the window sills. And here's flashing. There's got to be some flashing at this intersection where this roof intersects with the house siding. There's got to be flashing, right? Think of water. If you take InterNACHI's courses to become a home inspector, we train you to be water detectives, essentially. You think about water, constantly thinking about water. Water leaks, right, from inside the home, or water entry points, like where there's an inside corner. How is rainwater managed in this inside corner? This gutter, it's collecting water, right? But this is a fascia board. Are there any drips here? Eaves, allowing air to ventilate the attic space. But right here, sometimes there's loose siding. We don't want any water problems there. There has to be clearance between the grade and the bottom of the siding. The siding looks in great shape. Looking for any kind of missing pieces or whoops, looks like there's a little bit of a dent here, and it's because of the grill.
Like the grill hood just touched the vinyl siding right there.
So the grill touched the vinyl siding, and it's hard to fix that. And there's the driveway, the walkways, the sidewalk. Driveway looks in great shape. It's sloped away from the garage door and away that way, 2 directions. The sidewalk, no trip hazards. The front porch, no trip hazards. The front door, I tend to look at the bottom left, top right, bottom right. I guess it's clockwise. I go counterclockwise around house and clockwise around windows and doors. I just realized. So there's the front porch, the railing. If it's more than 30 inches of a drop, you need a railing there. No more than 4 inches of space in between. That's code. Shh. Code? Yeah, we talk about code a lot. I mean, we don't say we're code inspectors, but we're trained to recognize when something is violating modern code requirement, right? So some chipping there. I think that was just a finish job that wasn't all that great. Just looking at all the details, like look at how many dissimilar materials there are. There's asphalt, concrete foundation, vinyl siding, concrete patio, aluminum capping. There's wood underneath. There's concrete here. There's rubber gasket. It's fantastic. All these things where they all come together should be inspected. Like this was painted, right? It may have been rusty, so they painted it. I think they painted it just recently for me. So that's nice. But I'm going to get my screwdriver and poke around and see if there's any rust or corrosion. If I was the homeowner, I'd seal that up between dissimilar metals. Not required according to the standards of practice to inspect fences, but I'm going to anyways. As a courtesy, I'll take a look at a few things. If there's something wrong with the gate or the fence damage or the backyard, I'll put that in report. All exterior receptacles require GFCI protection. The GFCI device doesn't have to be right here. It's probably on the inside. In this house, I think it's in the garage or the bathroom. If it was missing, that would be a defect that I would put in my report. And I don't care when the house was built. Right now, we all know if you plug something in on the outside, you don't want to get electrocuted. So it should have GFCI protection. And it's a kind of like an affordable fix that could save your life. So I put it in the report. I'm looking at where the corners of the windows and doors meet siding. It's important. And all exterior hose bibs, water spigots, hose faucets should be frost-proof in this area. If it's a cold climate, it freezes and it will freeze right there and burst. So that needs to be fixed.
The electric receptacles are protected by a ground fault. That's good. The water faucet has running water. It's not frost-free, so it needs to be drained before wintertime.
And there's the siding. I don't like that nail right in the call it capping siding, or if it was flashing, it'd be counter flashing. It's this overlapping flash. You've now put a hole, essentially a water penetration path, a path for water intrusion through this fantastic vinyl capping around your door here. So make sure that's sealed up. I mean, this is a very minor detail, but I'm looking at it. I might as well mention it, right? So anywhere the bottom of the corner of the door, and this wood absorbs water, it wicks water. It's pressure treated, right? But it still is wood. So I want to make sure it's in good shape. It moves differently from the other materials. It expands and contracts and all that stuff. Different prep, different maintenance. That's an exhaust pipe, probably from the hot water tank. That's the heating system. Water meter, dryer hood. Half of a job of a home inspection is just identifying what you're looking at. Seriously, like if you don't know what this is, you can get trained real quick on identifying components.
Left side of the house is the electric meter. It's secured to the house. The electric line comes up from the street underground into the meter, and then the line goes into the breaker panel. And I see the breaker panel is grounded to the earth with that grounding wire. TV cable and satellite box and phone cable. To the left is the dryer exhaust pipe, sensor that's hooked up to the water meter, some pump discharge pipe, and exhaust pipe from the hot water tank apparently.
Oh, hot water tank. Guy's asking questions. So that's his name, Guy. So you make sure agreement is signed with the client before starting? Yeah, I do. What about payment collection? Our policy was to collect payment after my client says that they are 100% satisfied. Before the inspection or completing the inspection, and thoughts on when to collect payment at the end. So that would cause water damage. Is there no proper damage? So what would cause water damage if there's no proper drainage on the roof? Well, if there's no proper drainage on the roof, there's a problem, right? So every roof needs to be designed to drain. Even flat roofs have a slope. So everything is sloped. And we don't call it pitch, we call it slope. Do you take a lot of pictures of each system? I do. Do you use them all in your report? No. Do you inspect this property during a rain event? I inspect it during a rain, snow, everything. You get exactly what is happening with the water. Right. Yes. Thanks, Guy. Heating and cooling. There's the air conditioner on the outside. Relatively new house. That's a stable on a base. Take a picture of the manufacturing label. There's the electrical, the disconnect, and I have a little video here.
3-ton air conditioner unit, 8 years old, so it's in the middle of its life. Refrigerant line looks good. Electric disconnect is installed. It's on a nice stable base.
Right now, I'm thinking there's nothing wrong with this house. Can't find anything except for the clogged gutter. And that's just minor. There's a propane, pressure regulator, shutoff valve, line going in. There's the tank, cover, control, amount, and another video. Let's skip that video. There's the gas-fired forced air furnace with ductwork in the basement. And there's the panel that comes off. And so you can see all the components, right? There's a gas line coming in, sediment trap, union, it goes to the pilot, induced draft fan on the exhaust. The burners are here, shut off switch. The blower fan is down here. The air filter is probably here. Here's return air ductwork, and above the heating system is the air conditioner and supply ductwork. And this is a condensate from the A coil of the air conditioner system. And there's the unit there. We got the condensate line, and there's the air filter. This is all the stuff that I show my client while I'm inspecting. Make sure it's in the correct direction. There's the arrow. So that's in clean, good shape. It snaps back in. There's the burners, bad picture, kind of blurry. Another blurry picture of the draft inducer fan and sensors and safety switches and pilot and gas. And there's the shutoff switch to get to the air filter. And there's the gas shutoff, electric shutoff switch, gas shutoff valve, exhaust pipe. It's plastic, high efficiency, and it goes outside, and we saw it outside. There's the air conditioner line. We saw the condenser on the outside. There's the refrigerant line, liquid line, and suction line. And there's the A coil there. It produces condensate. It drains in here. I don't like that it doesn't have a trap, and I don't like that it goes into the floor. Ideally, you want it into a sump pump, a condensate pump, and it pumps it outside, maybe into a sump pump or directly outside, something like that with an air gap. And there's one supply for the finished portion of the basement downstairs and one thermostat, and it's located upstairs. Next part of the standards of practice is the plumbing. And the way I think of inspecting plumbing is I think of out and in. So I'm going to inspect the drain waste vent. This is out. This is a clean out pipe. This is the street. This is sewer line. Everything's going out. I'm looking for leaks. The house has been lived in, so I'm just looking for any kind of leak at all, and looking at how the pipes are supported and strapped. Can't see everything. It's very difficult to see everything. It's an inspection restriction. There's water coming in, so that's out. Now it's in, water coming in, and there's a softening system. There's a water softener. I don't inspect those. There's plenty of information about how to inspect those. There's a bypass valve, and there's a main water shutoff valve if you had to turn off the water. This is what I'm telling my clients, and this is what, if you read my inspection reports and watch my videos, it's exactly the same information. And if you read my home maintenance manual, InterNETchi has a home maintenance book I give to every client so that they can maintain their home after I leave. It says the same information as well. It's just redundant amount of information. Just keep piling people on, just pile information on to my clients so that they feel overwhelmed, so that I can make what I deserved to charge, right? I mean, the amount of information we provide is overwhelming and valuable. And so we were able to raise our fees. I think that's something to keep in mind. Because you don't want to compete on if you can't figure out why you're uniquely valuable, then when someone is trying to choose out of 10, 20, 100 home inspectors in your area, which one to hire, and you haven't answered the question why you should be hired, because your unique value proposition that will ring true in your clients' ears, those who you want to serve. If you haven't figured all that out, then everybody kind of looks the same, And when everything else is the same, the only distinguishing characteristic between you and any other service provider is price. And people will tend to choose the lowest price. Lowest price will win if everything else is the same. And that's no good for anybody. Because basically, you get what you pay for. So if you want to be the cheap inspector, I wouldn't. In fact, there were cheap inspectors in our service area, and when someone was like kind of hesitant about the prices that we charged, I would tell them, I know some really cheap inspectors. Man, you can ask them for a major discount on top of their cheap price because and you get what you pay for. So if you want somebody cheap, you're talking to the wrong person. Would you like that cheap inspector? And they were like, all right, I get it. Yep. Because they're out there. That's just not the game we played. We played the game of value. We competed on value. And we went over some of those things. One of the valuable things that we offered was to get up on every roof that we inspect. So here's the main water shutoff valve, water coming in, expansion tank. It's a closed system. There's a check valve, so it can't expand backwards. So when the hot water tank heats up, it's going to expand. And so you need to get that pressure. It's a great idea. It's required in most townships. There's a little filter there, a charcoal filter or water filter to get all the gunk out. And then there's, I don't inspect these. It's very easy, but just let somebody else do it. They want to be friends with their local water softening company anyways. Water heating equipment is, or the water heater, you can call it the water heating equipment or the water heater, it's any appliance that heats the potable water and supplies it through the potable hot water distribution pipes. This is the hot water tank, water heating system, water heating equipment, water heater. It's really, about communicating what you're inspecting. So this is the water heater. It's gas fired. There's gas shutoff valve, union, sediment, burner down here. I like a water catch pan. I know this is a basement and it's concrete floor, but why not? Just put a catch pan there. Does it have to have a drain? It'd be great if it did, or all the way to the sump pump, but it doesn't have to. Just catch it maybe, right? And put a little sensor there. It can have an alarm. And then cold water coming in, hot water coming out, and an exhaust pipe. So there's the flames down there, no scorching, no rust, no corrosion. There's the manufacturing label. There's a shutoff valve. There's a shutoff valve for the water coming in, an expansion tank, and the TPR valve extended to the floor. It's not dripping, it's dry, and it's properly installed. Do you know there are 14 requirements to the pipe that I'm touching in this picture? 14 code requirements. It isn't like it has to extend to the floor. There's 13 others, other requirements just for the pipe, not the TPR, not the valve, the connecting pipe on the TPR, discharge pipe, it's called. Yeah, 14. How do you remember all of these things? I don't. It's in my software. Put little notes. There's a checklist that Energy has for everything in a home. We have a checklist for hot water tanks. We have a checklist for the TPR valve, discharge pipe, the 14 things. You upload that checklist into your software, and then you carry that software on your phone. You should be using software that works on a mobile device so that you can reduce errors and remember everything you're supposed to remember. Like, what are the 14 things that I'm supposed to be looking at on the pipe that I'm touching in this picture? And you become more efficient too. When you carry the standards of practice, when you carry software that has basically Energy's checklists on it, you become really good, a really great inspector. You don't miss anything, you reduce mistakes, and you become highly efficient. Because remember, early on in this presentation, we talked about managing time. Just like houses manage water, you have to be really good at managing your time. You can't spend all day inspecting everything. That's not what you're hired to do. Basement, foundation, crawl space, structure. Okay, let's do that. What am I required to inspect? It's in the standards of practice, right? Guy, Ben, do you speak with each client? Do you ever turn away potential clients? Red flags. Yes. We talk to every client. We invite every client to walk with us and talk with us and ask questions because I don't want to write reports or answer questions at night. I want to have dinner and spend time with my family and watch Thursday night football tonight. I forget who's playing. It's not the Steelers. They play Sunday. Um, the best thing I remembered about handling clients was that say no. When they ask you, you know, can you give me $100 off? And say, no, I can't. We price this just right. The service is incredibly valuable to you. It's $1,000 home inspection. Right? If you think you can't charge $1,000, by the way, you're wrong. There are many companies that charge $1,000, and just go to Greenworks. Greenwork. I use them always as an example. Go to Greenworks in Texas. Just Google Greenworks home inspections in Texas. They have green, greener, and greenest. $1,000, 1,500, and I don't know, something like that. Yeah. And also saying no to clients who are just a pain in the butt on the phone. My office manager is like, it's just not working out. We're not seeing eye to eye. They're asking for strange things. They're unavailable. All they want to do is email or something. Sometimes we just have to say that I think it's best, you find another home inspection company that fits your needs. That was our phrase. And just say no to clients. Sometimes clients, unless you need the money or something and you have to grit your teeth through the whole experience, our clients were so much fun to work with and they really enjoyed and valued us, right? And we were just inspecting our neighbors' homes. That's how we thought. Every inspector was inspecting their neighbors' homes. Essentially, it's true. Like if they're in the same county, it's essentially your neighbor, right? And we're helping each other out and we're going to inspect your home for you. That's how personal the relationship was. And some neighbors you just can't get along with. So you got to say no, right? Where are those checklists in particular on the website? Okay, I apologize for that, Greg, and I'm going to tell you exactly where it is. Greg, honestly, InterNACHI has so many pages of information. It could be overwhelming, and I apologize for that. But if you ever need something, right, and you can't find it, just reach out to anybody on staff. And sometimes like difficult things to find, bubble up to me, or you can just email me directly, ben@internachi.org, because just as our homepage says, right, we're here to help you succeed. And if you need something and we have it, oh, that's fantastic. That's all we do. That's all I do all day long. So here's a really long URL. I'm going to put it in the chat. And if you're not live and online and you're on YouTube or something, you can't see it, you can just email me, ben@internachi.org. Here's home inspection checklists. Home inspection checklists. They're fantastic. All right. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Basement foundation, crawl space structure. Okay. So, Eddie says, are you live? Some days I feel dead, Eddie. Just kidding. What do you mean? Am I live? Of course I am. This is not AI. This is really me. Here's the basement. Part of it was finished, part not. And so I take pictures like this in order to document that there are inspection restrictions. I can't see anything. I can't see everything. Everything. I can't see everything. Can't do everything. Can't see everything. Ben, what if there's a big hole right there and it's filled with mold and it's leaking water and it's on fire? Okay, right there. If I can't see it, I can't report upon it. I'm required by the standards of practice and my inspection agreement to report upon defects that I both see and consider really big. Material defects are called. Major defects. If I don't see it, it's not in the report. The judge is going to say, well, why wasn't it in the report? Your Honor, I didn't see it. Look at this. Look. I didn't see it. I'm required, Your Honor. I'm required, according to the thing that we agreed to. And by the way, I've been in small claims court, very easy, judge, magistrate, to prove that you abided by the standards of practice. You performed the home inspection according to the standards of practice. Your client read the standards of practice and agreed to it. You used InterNACHI's online agreement system where all this is combined and they agree. That I even put in my agreement that they read the home maintenance book, which has a lot of information on it. Just overwhelm your clients with information, right? And that they can't say, well, no one told me. Yeah, we did. Yep. And this is not an exhaustive search for all the defects. There could be a defect. There could be several defects in this home. I'm not required to find all the defects. Let me say that again. Ready? Let me put it in a question and answer. Is a home inspector required to find all the problems in a home? Is a home inspector required to find all the problems in a home? Nope. Casey's right. You get a handshake. Very good. Very good. Yeah. We're not required to inspect all. Can't possibly find all the problems in a home. You know how many problems there are in a home? And there's no way I can find them all. There's no way I can find. I can't even. None of them can be seen. Hardly any of them can be seen until you clean this place up or you tear open a wall, right? Yeah, your contractor comes in, tears open a wall, and goes, "Well, your home inspector should have seen that." No, she didn't have to see that, right? We're not required to find all the problems in a home. This is a very special kind of service that we provide within a limited amount of time. And the foundation upon which to build a home inspection process or business is those standards of practice. And man, use InterNACHI standards of practice. It's used by, I think InterNACHI home inspectors perform roughly 4 to 5 million home inspections every year using the standards of practice. I would use that. All right, this is the concrete foundation wall. I got some patching that comes after. These are patched over the essentially the spacing rebar, reinforcement bars from the wall. I'll get it later. I know what I want to say, but there's a phrase for it. There's a term for it. I'm touching the thing. And there's inspection restriction. This is patched up back here, but I can't see everything. This is a difficult corner, and I can't see everything. This is a difficult corner to see. I can't see everything. I've got a trick for this corner, though. I know if this corner is dry or wet. Do you know how I do it? I can tell you if this corner of the basement, where that downspout problem is, I can tell you if this corner is dry or wet. Without measuring moisture content. Without measuring the actual moisture content, I can tell you whether this area is dry or wet. Let me tell you how? Hold on. We'll get to it. So there's inspection restrictions. I can't see everything. I can't I can't see everything, but I'm looking, I'm putting, Your Honor, I'm moving stuff here and there, I can't see everything. Look, what is that? That is a window underneath what? Well, we saw the window on the outside. Remember it was painted gray? What's insulation doing on the outside? Where is that? What? You figure that one out. There's that window that we saw that should be painted and sealed. Drop ceiling, right? You're not required to move the drop ceiling tiles. I'm going to move this drop ceiling tiles under certain like the front door and the slider door and certain areas where I think there might be water, and underneath the kitchen sink, first floor bathroom or something like that. I'll move those tiles and it'll look like this. I won't be able to see anything after I move them. These are engineered joists, I-joists. These are fantastic. I love these floor joist systems. This is awesome. Much better than sawn wood. But the drop ceiling is in my way, and so are the pipes and the insulation and the hangers, and everything's it's a big restriction. It's a huge restriction I'm just trying to do there. That's what I use to determine whether a corner of the floor in the basement is wet or not. What is it? So there's insulation at the band. I'll move the insulation with my 3-tine garden hoe. Let's see, there's a picture of it. There it is. So I have a garden hoe. It's extendable. You can get it at Home Depot or, on Amazon or something. And I straighten one of the tines so I can poke on it, right? And I grab that insulation, I move it, and then put it right back. No one even knows. And, this basement section with the heating, the water, and the drain, and it's taken probably an hour. It's a good chunk of the home inspection. It's the heavy lifting part, right? Then the next part is electrical. I use that. So this is the moisture meter. It's an extendable moisture meter. It has pins on the bottom, and it gives me an audible signal on whether it's wet or not. And I'm not measuring the moisture content. I could care less. I don't quantify, I qualify. I don't quantify anything with measurement. I just want to know, is this wet or is this dry? Is this wet or is that dry? Is that wet? Is there any moisture there that my probe uses? If it does, if it'll ring, it'll give me a beep, 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 and it'll give me a light, red light, and then I pull this carpet back, and then I get my moisture meter out, and I'll measure it. Or I'll use my infrared as well. So I like all these little devices that help me inspect for water. I'm still inspecting water. Look how far. I'm almost 2 hours in, and I'm still inspecting. I'm still thinking about water. Everything's about water, man. More water. Here's a sump pump. There's a bucket, and it collects water from, it should be, the air conditioner condensate drain line, that condensate pipe from the HVAC system and the air conditioner coil. That could drain in here. That'd be really good, but it's not. The sump pump has a float. I manually test it. I mark that there was water. The picture's worth 1,000 words, but in the report, I'll give a general estimate as to how much water is in the bucket. If it's dry, that's important information. If there's a little bit of water during a rainstorm, that's important information. If it's filled with water, that's important information. So the levels of water in a sump pump bucket is valuable information for the person who owns that bucket. It should be protected by a GFCI. There's some more components that I'm looking at: manifold for gas, water lines, I-joists, steel, an interior wall built in the basement, not using wood. That's fantastic, so it doesn't rust. There's some indications of efflorescence in that corner. That's the salt deposits left behind after moisture has pushed through the porous material and then evaporated on the outside. Indication of active water penetration. If you ever see efflorescence and you scrape it off and it's that white powdery stuff and it's dry, it's probably an active water penetration, right? No one's cleaned it up, but you don't know. I wouldn't call it a problem solved. The problem could still be existing. Big I-beam in the middle, electric receptacles, GFCI protection, and smoke detector. Electrical is next. Should we hit electrical? Touch the carpet. Yeah, no, I touched the carpet. I used a probe. Feel it? Yep. Yeah, your hand is one of the best moisture detectors, but they actually have really cool things with tools. Electric meter doesn't fall off the house. That's a good thing. A line going into the panel, grounding electroconductor. The sewer line is in front of the panel. Are you kidding me? They went right in front. They should have stubbed out the wall, put the sewer line behind it. Something. Come on. Really? I mean, it's at least it's not blocking the door. I mean, it just barely. That's so funny. There should be clearance, right, in front of this thing. So, oh well. I guess the electric obviously went in first, and then the plumber came in second. Great. If there was a supervisor who cared about timing contractors and giving good solutions that make sense, that'd be great. But we build houses really fast, and homeowners don't understand that home inspectors can oversee work like this so that this doesn't happen. If you go to overseeit.com, sign up, right? Overseeit.com. And these home inspectors, internationally certified home inspectors, can make sure the next project is done right and on time, right? It's project oversight, contractor oversight, supervision of contractors so that unnecessary repairs are not recommended. And terrible work like this doesn't get done by master plumbers, master licensed plumbers, master electricians. This is perfect. We got a master electrician and master plumber, and this is what they came up with. Great. Here's the electrical panel. 200 amps, two fingers, 200 amps. Breakers, all labeled, identified. I pulled the cover off. Didn't like the whole idea, but I did. I wanted to see on the inside. I apologize for the blurry pictures. But all the things that if you ever wanted to download a really good 50-point inspection checklist for an electrical panel, we got it. And if you wanted to communicate what you inspect to your clients, go to Nachi's gallery of illustrations. That's at nachi.org/gallery. Put in panel, search for panel, and panel board basics. This is what you're looking at, right? Or if you wanted to describe a panel and subpanel, right? Or let's see, what are the ones? What do I like? 200 amp panel, right? So these are cool pictures, illustrations that help you communicate what you're looking at, right? What's the main bonding jumper? It's this little guy, right? Okay. InterNACHI has everything you need. It's really great. Fireplace, there's no fireplace. There's a standards of practice for inspecting a fireplace. You're required to inspect this, and you have to describe that. Attic. Remember our timeline? What was it? If I start at 7 o'clock from my home, 8 o'clock, I'm at the house. At 10 o'clock, I'm inspecting the attic, and I'm managing my time really well, right? So let's go back to the attic. It's 10 a.m. for an 8 o'clock inspection. I'm in the attic. I'm smiling because I know I'm going to wrap this up in about an hour. I'm managing my time well. I can't walk in this attic because this is an inspection restriction. There's no fixed flooring, right? I'll try to maybe step on this area here, but I really don't love doing that. It's not my favorite thing to do. But if I wanted to really do it, I give it a try, and I'm looking for watermarks. Any modifications to the trusses. The truss plates need to be there. The soffit vent trays need to be there. The insulation needs to be thick. The decking needs to be in good shape. There can't be any watermarks where pipes penetrate through. I'm looking with my flashlight. There's my flashlight there. I'm looking at the dark places. I'm looking for any problems. Any problems? Trying to find problems. See if I can see if there are any problems, and then maybe, tell them how to fix it or where the source of the problem is. But it all looks really good. I mean, this is thick, beautiful insulation. Look at that. It looks like snow. That's a great picture. Doesn't it look like yellow snow? Well, for this instance, in the attic, yellow snow is good. Main bathroom. There's a main bathroom, master bathroom. I get in the shower, turn on the shower, make sure there's plenty of fixture. I can't see the back side of the shower. There isn't a plumbing access panel. I like that. Double sink, run hot and cold water, looking at the drainage pipes, the P-traps, the cold valve, the shutoff valve, the stopper, GFCI protection in the bathrooms, the tub, the shower, little heat lamp, and there's the ventilation. And there's the other bathrooms. This is the other bathroom in the second floor hallway. Just run hot and cold water, GFCI. It's basically this. There's the plumbing access panel. They put a plumbing access panel here, but they didn't put it for the master. And the door opens and closes. First floor half bath, sink, drain, GFCI, fan. Then there's a laundry. That was in the basement. I don't like the hoses. There's a little bit of watermark there. A little corrosion there. The rubber hoses, they're not really pressure tested. Those stainless steel braided mesh hoses, they're my favorite. GFCI protection in the laundry, need that. Gas shutoff valve. There's the standpipe. You got to strap that a little bit better, I would say. And there's the water softener discharge as well. So there's a lot of water here. and it kicks. And this is a weak connection. I would just tighten this all up. I'd strap this, a little bit better. They're strapping it on the water line. It's not that great of a install. Okay. There are better ways to do it, more secure ways. Man, if this pops out and you're not home, there's a lot of gallons of water just being dumped from the clothes washer. The dryer vent pipe, that's great, but there's a limit to how long they can be. I see lint on the top. I'm not sure. Maybe they saw it was disconnected and they put some tape on it. At least they're using metal tape and not duct tape. That's good. And we saw the hood outside. Do you remember the hood outside? And it's supported by this little wire here. And that's the clothes washer. Clothes washer could have a pan, just like the hot water tank could have a pan. Just something you can recommend. Interior. Now I'm blowing through the house. Not blowing through just being efficient, but basically it's representative number of windows and doors and receptacles and things like that. I don't have to do all components. I don't have to open and close every window, but I'm going to get to them, but I'm not required to. So I'm going to do a representative number. While I'm doing the doors, I see a little tear in the carpet. This is cosmetic. Home inspectors are not required to report upon cosmetic issues. I may do it for courtesy only if I see something or my client wants it in the report. Front door opens or closes. I couldn't get this front porch post light to turn on. When I'm at the front door, I'll turn on the exterior lights. That's a good time. Instead of being on the exterior and then stepping in the house with wet shoes or something. So I wait until I have my indoor only shoes on. I'm at the front door and I stick my head outside and I'm trying to turn on the lights. This guy didn't turn on. It could be a burned out bulb. I'm just going to note it in the report. I don't think it's going to be this major electrical problem. I think it's just going to be a burned out bulb. More interior. One of the best places for me to inspect the interior is the ceiling below the second floor bathrooms. That's so much fun. And you can do that with an infrared camera. So the interior of this house is in good shape. And I get to the garage. So the garage has the standards of practice. I've got 2 garage door openers. I open and close each garage door. There's a 10-step checklist for inspecting the garage door opener. So there's 10 steps to inspect the garage door opener according to a national standard. And if you take InterNACHI's garage inspection course, you get to those 10 steps. Okay. So I highly recommend getting trained on every system and component of a home on how to inspect them, how they work, how they maintained. There's a GFCI behind the refrigerator. Can't reset it without pulling out the refrigerator. It's actually a freezer. So that was an issue. So I had to so the GFCI is back there. I heard it trip, I heard it go snap. And I'm like, it's behind this large appliance, isn't it? So I made sure everybody knows that this refrigerator is now off and we want to turn it back on by resetting the GFCI, which is behind this refrigerator that I do not move. Okay. Just careful with that. And just, there's a lot of stuff I can't see, that should be sealed up a little bit better around the pipe. We don't want gases and fumes and fire to go through that opening. And I'm showing my client that I'm looking for bugs. I'm looking for frass, ant parts. Carpenter ants are really popular in this neighborhood, in this area. I'm looking for that. I'm also looking for termites, termite tubes, the mud tubes. On the outside, I look for carpenter bees and carpenter ants as well. But ant parts and frass, that's a lot of fun to look for. And just a lot of, there's a trip hazard here. You don't need a handrail, but this is loose. This carpet is loose. And also the actual wooden framed step is loose. They're often loose. They're not attached. Often, like you'll be carrying something and you'll step on this front nose, which is not built to code, and the step will flip on you. I've done that before. Exterior faucet inside the house needs to be frostproof. It's a good idea. Garages get cold. I'm in the kitchen And I'm smiling from ear to ear because I'm almost done. And I've done a really great inspection and I'm working really hard and I can't find any major big problems. We got that clog gutter in the back. What else? Not much, right? Should I should I not charge them for my service because I can't find any problems? Guy says, Ben, given restrictions at the dead panel, the electrical front dead panel, would you remove this dead panel? Yeah, I did. What PPE used for attics? A half mask. I don't like full face. I like a half mask, high efficient air filter. So, or respirator and gloves. And if I'm going in deep, I'll suit up like a crawl space, Tyvek suit. That's rare, but usually I'm just going right in. And then before I access the attic, I'll put something down on the floor to protect the flooring. So that's PPE for the flooring. Um, there's the kitchen sink, drain, garbage disposal. I mean, we have a checklist for, I think it's the kitchen sink, garbage disposal. I think there's just a checklist just for the garbage disposal, I believe. So GFCI protection for the kitchen receptacles, counter receptacles, all of them. And we've got really cool graphics that help you explain that electrical protection device that's required in new homes, including AFCI, GFCI, and where they come together. If you wanted to convey that with a nice illustration, you could. You can download these illustrations from InterNACHI's gallery and put them in your report to boost the quality of your report. It's really good. Let's see. Heat is required in the bathroom. Yes, heat supply. Does the heat and exhaust vent count, or should the heating be in um, an infrared? What do they call it? A heat lamp device isn't a heat source. Um, in this house, the HVAC system was a forced air duct system, and there's a duct register supply for the bathroom. There isn't a return in the bathroom. And actually, by code, modern code, you're not required to have a supply vent in the bathroom, but everyone expects it. So there's a big discussion online about that. And you can argue about code, but you're supposed to have a heating supply for every livable area, and you can't live in a bathroom. So you can discuss that, but I don't care. I'm looking for a heater in the bathroom because I don't want to be cold, and no one else does either. Let's see. So what's more important is really the exhaust. You need a vent that goes outside, not into the attic or into the wall or into the ceiling. You need the exhaust outside. All mechanical exhausts need to discharge outside, and that is directly outside, not through a vent or into a space that's unfinished or something like that, like an attic space or an eave or a soffit vent. It has to be outside. The termination point is outside air, outside the building envelope, outside the surface of the exciting. Okay. And that is mechanical exhaust. That's dryer, obviously. Kitchen and bathroom. Okay. Exhaust outside. He is required about Guy. Ben, how do you define minor, major material defects in your report? Do you have a categories? Yeah. You're required by the standards of practice to report upon the material defects that you observe, right? But if you wanted to, I used InterNACHI's dictionary, which is under glossary. That's through your dashboard, but you can go to nachi.org/glossary and type in the word defect, and you get some definitions of defect, right? There's a material defect that's defined. There's a major defect. There's a minor defect. There's the word defect. It's a difficult thing to define. Look how big the definition of a defect is. And there's cosmetic defect, right? So I use these to help my client understand what I'm saying. I think the colloquial term, the common term, the everyday use, plain language term would be problem. So I like to use defect, but it's problem. Let's see. Cody, I know we haven't started yet, but I was going to, oh, sorry. Eddie, is there a reason why the attic is not inspected at the end of the inspection? Hi, Eddie. Attic is inaccessible, not unlimited. Is there a reason why the attic is not inspected at the end of the inspection? You can inspect anything at any time in any order whenever you want. But you have to inspect it according to the standards of practice. So the standards of practice doesn't say, well, you have to inspect this first or last or second or third, right? So you can inspect the attic first if you wanted to. You can inspect it last, but you have to inspect it. Eddie. Guy, how do you distinguish? Oh, okay. Same thing. Same question. Ben, oh, Guy, you are fantastic with the questions. How do you incorporate thermal imaging in your inspections and reports? Perhaps this inspection was performed before you incorporated. You just told an inspection, it seems it would be helpful to. Oh, yeah. So I didn't use infrared on here. So I use infrared all the time. I used infrared probably in this home, but there's nothing to look at. I can't find anything. I usually use infrared, not for everything. I'm not going to every room and using infrared. I'm using my eyes first, right? And I'm looking for potential problems where there's going to be valuable information provided by this instrument that I'm using. I don't use a moisture meter on every wall surface. I don't use the probe, moisture probe on every carpet, right? Right. So I don't use the infrared everywhere. I'm looking at the inspection and I'm going, okay, I need to apply this tool here. I don't use the flashlight where I can see everything. I only use the flashlight where I can't see, right? I only use tools that are applicable. So I can't remember if I used the infrared here. We were using the infrared when they were $5,000. I bought a $5,000 infrared camera. So we were using infrared on every inspection, but I probably pulled it out maybe down in the basement corner, but maybe I didn't because I was using the moisture probe. So I wasn't using, and I knew that the attic was really well insulated. I don't have any reason to pull something out for more information. So if you're going to use infrared, don't use infrared alone. You need a moisture meter. Those two are brother and sister. You need an infrared camera and the partner that goes with an infrared camera. If you're going to buy one, you got to buy the other. No, you can buy a moisture meter without the infrared. But if you're going to buy an infrared, you need a moisture meter. Because infrared will tell you, oh, anomaly. Look at that. What the heck is that? You know, you can tell there's a temperature difference, but you don't know if it's wet or not unless you touch it. And then, did that feel wet? Can't tell. So you get your moisture meter, which can then probe into material. I mean, it can probe an inch or two or three into the stud wall, right? So where are we? Guy, good question about the word defect. Oh, and incorporating thermal imaging. Chris Shep asks, do you have any recommendations for thermal imaging and moisture meters for the first time home inspectors? Yeah, get the cheapest one. Get the absolute cheapest one. And then in your marketing, tell everybody that you inspect using infrared. You don't have to say, I use really expensive infrared. No one cares. Just say, I'm infrared certified. Oh, so to get started, where is it? Go to certification and then click the certification programs and scroll down to infrared and become infrared certified. Infrared certified. This is the logo you want. Don't get level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, which costs more money when you go up. No, just become infrared certified, International Thermography Inspector. That's all you need. How much does it cost? Tuition free. Is it a college course? Of course it is. Get infrared certified so you can use an infrared camera. Okay? And then get a moisture meter. That's what I would do. Get the cheapest one too. I like FLIR. And I like to shop at Inspector Outlet. So you go to infrared cameras and get, there we go, $214. Oh, no, is that the camera? Really? Maybe not. So 319 bucks, right? Maybe there's a payment plan. And then I would go to, here, FLIR, this one, this fits in your pocket, right? 500 bucks. But look at that. Like you can get a FLIR one for 375 bucks, right? Put it on a card and then increase your fee by $20 and In about 2 dozen inspections, you'll have this all paid off. Allow your clients, don't ever take on overhead. If you're going to buy something for your business, like a home maintenance book, right? If you're going to buy an infrared camera, or if you're going to use InterNetChi's home maintenance book, which is only $3, you're going to give it to every client. Let them pay for their own book. Increase your fee $5 and give them the $3 book and a cup of coffee, right? At McDonald's. Just raise your fee $5 and allow your clients to pay for their own home maintenance book. Don't take over the overhead costs. Buy an infrared camera, raise your fee, and allow the next 2 dozen clients to pay for you using that infrared camera. Let them pay for the valuable information that you can grab for them using that infrared technology. You don't have to go in the red in order to provide incredibly valuable information. Allow those clients who want that information to pay for your special tools that give them the information they need. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. Don't ever go into debt, right? I mean, just for a quick, short window, sure, initial investment, but have a plan to pay that off. Not on your own. Allow your clients to pay for that upgrade tool. I'm in the kitchen, dishwasher, stove, oven, and it doesn't exhaust outside. I have a gas stove and a gas oven, and the kitchen exhaust, mechanical exhaust, should be going outside, and it doesn't. It really should. And there's the window there. Maybe that's the exhaust. Inspection report. Here's the inspection report. Pictures. I throw this in before I leave the property. I'm doing this before I don't want to work in my truck between jobs. I don't want to go to the office and do photos. No. Here's that clogged gutter. I'm done. Here's the monitoring this, right? Improving that grading. There's the mark from the grill. Couldn't turn this post light on. There's a fridge plugged into a GFCI. I'm looking for anything red. Anything red in my report is bad. Don't turn it into green. Don't get in trouble. Blue is nice. Blue headers, black text on white. Anything red is what I want you to do before you buy the house. Before you close, read the red stuff and do it. So you recommend getting the heating system cleaned and inspected because there's no recent service tag, right? Red appears level, but you don't want it to go off level. So that's monitoring. The condensate line drains in a hole in the floor. That's no good. What else? See all the pictures that we took? A lot of the good ones are in there. A lot of the bad ones, the repetitive ones. Monitoring recommended. The tank is a little old, 8 years old. Careful. There's a relief valve, right? Watch that. There's a water leak catch pan is recommended, and water softening system. I'm not inspecting it. So you better get that checked out. And that's this is the whole report. Most reports are about 40, 50 pages long. There's the abbreviated standards of practice and InterNetChi graphics to boost the quality of your inspection report. Now you can communicate things, right? And our graphics are fantastic. Let me show you the graphics. So you can put all kinds of stuff in your report. Because a picture's worth 1,000 words, and the graphics are really good too. So we go back to netchi.org/gallery. And let's go electrical. And we saw this. I showed you this stuff, but here's that clearance, right? Here's the clearance. You're not supposed to have anything in front of the panel. Come on. It's not supposed to be a main drain sewer line going in front of the panel board. Where is that in that picture? Where is the plumber, master plumber? Don't ever back down from a master plumber or master electrician or a super contractor, they make mistakes and they'll just look right at you and say, well, you're a home inspector. What do you know? Our job is to help contractors do better work because there are no professionals who can oversee contractor work, right? Right. So get into that service. You know how many millions of homeowners, you know how many neighbors of yours, whenever anything goes wrong in their home, the first knee-jerk reaction is to call a contractor and get their credit card out. You need to step in that space and be the home consultants. They already trusted you to inspect their home. Now you tell them after the home inspection, if anything goes wrong, put it in the report. If anything goes wrong, right here, put a little letter. If anything goes wrong, you call me. I'll come over, or we can do a video chat. You tell me what's going on with your toilet leaking on the floor, right? It's probably a wax seal or a loose toilet or something. You can walk them through it. And then now they are empowered with the information they need provided by you to challenge unnecessary repair recommendations by contractors. I'm not saying all contractors like that. No, contractors are fantastic. They fix stuff. But their business model is to make a profit, right? Our business model as home inspectors is to educate. That's it. We don't need to sell more stuff. We just sell information that's valuable to homeowners so that their homes are safe, functioning, and healthy. It's a really great place to be if you're a home inspector. Here's my report summary, which I do quickly and almost immediately with a click of a button. And it just does a report summary. And feel free to see all this language that you can take it, you can use it, you can rewrite it yourself. Here's a letter for the seller that I leave on the kitchen counter telling them that I wore indoor only shoes and I tried to put everything back, and then give me a call if you need anything. A lot of my clients were sellers because they got beat up by me during the inspection and now they want to hire me. So every seller is a potential client. Okay. So give them good stuff. And then this is the report summary. It's a very short report. Oh, so the answer to the question is, remember I asked, what if you can't find any problems in a home? Do you give your money back? Serious. It's a good question. It's a really good question. If you can't find any problems in a home, small or big, should you give your money back? Should you not charge? You should charge the same amount of money because that inspection that didn't result in a big summary of defects is incredibly valuable information. You're in the business of giving people information. And if you can't find problems, that's really good information. And they're going to take that information and make a decision that will have incredible impact on their lives for the next 30 years. It will be the biggest financial decision that they'll ever make. And they have trusted you, not the contractor, not the building code inspector, not the township inspector, not the bank inspector, not the builder, not the contractor, not the neighbor, not the real estate agent. You're going to help them make the most important decision of their lives. And if you do a home inspection and you can't find anything wrong, that's really good information. That's just as valuable as a home with a bunch of problems, because you're in the business of educating people about their home. You're essentially telling the story of their home. Here's a report conclusion and walkthrough. You can take a look at that if you want to and steal a bunch of text from me. I don't care. Take all my narratives. If you want to look at my report, I'll share. I have a bunch of sample reports. InterNetSheet has about 20 sample reports written by certified master inspectors, and they have volunteered, and they said you can steal whatever they say off of their report to make your report better. Well, that was it. We did a home inspection. We did an inspection report. We went over everything. We did a lot of questions and answers. I'm going to take a short time here for follow-up questions, but if you need to email me, my name is Ben Gramico. I'm at InterNACHI, ben@internachi.org. I'm also on social media, having some fun there. And you should be on social media too. You referenced GFCI tripping behind the stand-up freezer that you won't be able to meet. Should stackable laundry unit and washing machines be plugged into? Yeah. So we have GFCI. Oh, I did a really good video. There's so much information. So just go to the electrical course under GFCI and AFCI, two different devices, and they're valuable sections of that electrical course. Again, whenever you take an InterNACHI course, you don't have to take the whole thing. Just go in and find that information and then update your software with that information. There's usually a checklist for every course that we do, and you just put that checklist in there. Okay. Yeah, like GFCI's, you know, the GFCI rules have changed. NEC is flip-flopped. The code IRC is flip-flopped. So when you're inspecting a home, the question is, do you inspect it with regard to the code cycle or the age of the home, or you don't care? Personally, I don't care when the home is built. If there's GFCI protection required for the dishwasher and it's missing, I'm going to call it out. If there's GFCI protection required for the garage receptacle that's maybe within reach or maybe not within reach, I'm going to call it out, because every receptacle in the garage should be GFCI protected. If there's a AFCI missing, AFCI protection is missing in the home completely. It's not installed, and it's a 20-year-old home. They didn't even have AFCI back then. I'm going to put that in a report. I'm not going to wave red flags like crazy. I'm not going to call it a material defect. I am going to provide information that may be valuable to my client about AFCI protection for that instance. That's the business I'm in. I can't require anybody to fix anything, but I'm in the business of educating my clients about everything that I can. What software do you use? Oh, I like InterNACHI software. Oh, Inspector Outlet has discounted. Inspector Outlet has discounts on software. There. So every one of these vendors provides a discount for InterNACHI membership. Whatever you do in this industry, if you're buying a flashlight to buying expensive software, ask for an InterNACHI exclusive discount or service. Some vendors are exclusive to InterNACHI, some are not. But insist on getting some kind of InterNACHI member discount. Okay. Leverage the size of your trade organization to benefit you. These vendors need to recognize that InterNACHI members are really good customers. They should take care of them. Let's see. Florida inspectors base their pricing on square footage of the home. It's common practice to include okay. In Florida, should home inspectors base their pricing on square foot? Oh, I can answer that question by telling you to log in to your dashboard. Here's exactly how you can calculate the most profitable inspection fee for your business without any regard to what everyone else is doing. Who cares what everyone else is doing? You log into your dashboard. You go to business development on the left-hand side. You scroll down to the home inspection business and marketing course, which is offered by the only accredited college, internachi.edu. You log in to the course and you go to the chapter 11 called Calculating Profitable Inspection Fees. And you meet two inspectors, Inspector Mary and Inspector John, and they're trying to figure out using math what they should charge. I want you to do that because it's all about math that applies to what you need. Your desired annual salary, your estimated overhead, and your desired annual profit divided by how much you're willing to work. That's how you calculate inspection fees. In Florida, They are insane. They price their fees based on how low you can go. What is that one you put on wheels on your feet and you go under the pole? That's what it's like in Florida, right? What's that called? Anybody know? I used to do it when I was a kid. Put rollerblades on your feet and you go under a pole. Limbo. Thanks, Luther. In Florida, they play limbo with their fees. That's a really good phrase. I've never thought of that. I just thought of it now. In Florida, it's terrible. They're all just playing limbo down there. See how low you can go. But your thing is tonight. Who asked that question? Lothar. You're gonna do the math, buddy. Okay? And you're gonna figure out a profitable inspection fee. And then you're going to, in order to charge that much, you're gonna figure out how to overwhelm potential clients who are visiting your website and convince them that you are worth it. Because in business, if the value, if the perceived value, it's not even the actual value, if the perceived value of the client looking at you, they're looking at you, they're looking at your website. What kind of value do I see? If the perceived value is overwhelming in comparison to the cost, it's a good decision. So cost has something to do with it. If people are landing on your website and they're not scheduling with you, it's not your cost. It's not the fees that you're charging necessarily. It's probably you have a problem with communicating the value. You have a problem with communicating. You have a problem with marketing why I should hire you instead of anyone else. That's what you should work on. Calculate a profitable fee using math and then work on marketing in order to support that. You want to communicate why you charge what you do. And it's all about marketing. And I would take the home inspection business and marketing course. All right, y'all. Let's wrap this up. What do you think? Oh, Mark says, Ben, what is the limit? I don't know. What is the limit to plumbing inspection in South Africa? I don't know. What is the limit to plumbing inspection in South Africa? I don't think there's any limit. Let's just say it that. There's no limit in South Africa. How about that? I don't know what the limit is. I don't know. Like 10 gallons per minute or something? How do you get that certification page on the InterNACHI website? That's easy. You go to to get your certifications, NACHI.org. There's a couple ways to get there. Let's just go in your dashboard. Log into your dashboard, click My Dashboard, go to Certification, click the link. InterNACHI also offers over 60 additional certifications. So My Dashboard, certifications on the left, the link to additional certifications. InterNACHI has over 60 inspector certifications. There's Healthy Homes. We talked about that. There's the garage inspector. There's the garage door, the 10 steps to the garage door opener inspection. There's indoor air quality. There's moisture intrusion. This is a really good course. The moisture intrusion course is a really good course. You got to know how to inspect for carpenter ants, right? And bees. We talked about how a roof diverts water away. Get that training. A lot of us rent instead of buy. A lot of people are renting. They can't afford to buy right now. So get an InterNACHI certified rental ready logo for your marketing. Okay. All right. That's it. I did all the questions, did all the chats. Thanks, Greg. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the nice words. All right, Guy. Appreciate it. Lothar, thank you very much. We just did I'm on social media. Why don't you follow me? It'd be a lot of fun to talk to you. I post a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff. But we did a webinar, an InterNACHI webinar. They're free, live, online, open to everybody at nachi.org/webinars. I'm Ben Gromyko. Feel free to email anybody at InterNACHI to help you be successful. All right, everybody, stay safe and healthy. I'll talk to you next time. Bye, y'all. Really appreciate it. Bye.